This is Sandy Tankus, speaking for the other side of 50, TOS50.com, and I'm here today speaking to Dr. Paul Law, who is the Director of Medical Informatics at the Kennedy Krieger Institute at Johns Hopkins. So many of us have autistic grandchildren that it's really become an epidemic. And it's for that reason that I'm speaking to Dr. Law today. Good morning, Dr. Law.
Good morning.
And I thought that perhaps we might begin by your telling us why you became interested in researching autism.
Well, I went to Johns Hopkins University to get medical training, to go back to where I grew up in the Congo. And it was during that training that my son was diagnosed with autism. And that really changed my whole career path. And I began to get interested in autism. And specifically, the thing that struck me was that we really didn't know what the best interventions were to be using for kids and adults with autism. And the pace of research in trying to understand what we should be doing for our children and adults with autism was really going very slowly. So I began to look for ways that we could speed up the pace of autism research together as a community, and began to dedicate my career to that.
Well, I know that you work with something called the Interactive Autism Network. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, so maybe you can tell us what that is.
So the Interactive Autism Network, or IAN, is a project that is, it's a network of families and researchers and care providers and caregivers across the country who are interested in helping to accelerate autism research and to develop treatments and therapies that will improve the lives of children with autism and adults. And so we have more than 35,000 family members, children with autism and their family members, and then also over 1,000 researchers who are working together to accelerate autism.
And do people join the Interactive Autism Network, or IAN? Is that through do they join through the internet, or how do they join?
Exactly. It is a online research project. So anybody who has access to the internet and has autism or is a family member of somebody with autism can go online and join. So, for instance, a mother of a child with autism can go to IAN Research, ianresearch.org, and begin to register and review the consent and learn what it means to join the project, and then will be asked to fill out forms and information about their child. They'll also be asked to invite all of the siblings of the child with autism and the father, so they can participate as well. We believe that the most important source of information for advancing autism research is the parents of children with autism and the adults with autism themselves as they get older. And so we're doing the best job we can to capture that information and bring it to a central location so that science can benefit from the wealth of experience and expertise that families themselves have in dealing with their child's autism.
I'm sure that some of our viewers would be really interested in the statistical results of the work that you've done. Is there, firstly, a genetic component?
Yes. Yes. So there definitely is a genetic component to autism, and one of the ways that we know this is because for all studies, when you're trying to sort out whether genetic plays a role, we do twin studies, and If a disease is strongly genetic, then identical twins, if one has the disorder, then the other one will have it almost 100% of the time. For fraternal twins, or non-identical twins, the rate of concordance will be much, much less. And that's in fact what previous research has shown in autism. Previous twin studies have shown that there's a high rate of concordance in children with autism if they're identical twins, whereas it's much less for fraternal twins. And at Ian, because we're the largest autism study in the world, with 35,000 members, we were actually able to do the largest twin study ever and look at the rate of concordance. And what we found was that identical twins, 90% of the time they were concordant, whereas the non-identical twins were concordant only 30% of the time.
So it is 10%. I myself have identical twin grandchildren, one of whom is autistic and one isn't, and so I fall into that, or my family falls into that 10%.
Right, and that's very rare. And as you know, Sandy, in our study, when we looked at identical twin girls, 100% of them were in fact concordant. So the situation in your family is particularly rare, and it'll be interesting to see what that means over time. Being an identical twin is very rare. Being a female with autism is also very rare. So there's just not that many such situations to study, and that's one of the things that Ian is all about. Is by bringing together so many people, some of these rare situations can be better understood. Because we have more identical twin girls with autism than anybody else on the planet right now, because we're such a large project.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today, Dr. Law. And I also want to thank the Sid Jacobson JCC for allowing us to use their premises for this conversation.
Thank you, Sandy.